Again, my name is Ibn Tiyab. Most people call me Ibn, from the East Camden, New Jersey, by way of my mother's womb, as they would say, you know what I mean? But yeah, we've been here doing our thing for a few years now. I want to say going on 11. This will be our 11th year in business in Camden, New Jersey. And what we got going on, me and my brother Hamza Chief Hamidicus, the introduction of our newly formed nonprofit organization. Walaikum salam.
Yo, what up? So we at Paradise Books, 1508.
1506.
1506.
Money from Avenue, Camden, New Jersey.
Yeah.
I mean, welcome. Paradise Books and Islamic Fashions.
With my brother Ib. You know what I mean? Ib is very instrumental in the people of destiny. Not just the people of destiny, kind of like everything we got going on in the community with Kuba School Islamic Center, Ahlus, Sunnah jamaa of America, and then just being a foothold here in the city of Camden with Islamic attire, books. You know, later on we're gonna show you everything else. You know what I mean? Give you a little tour of the store, let you see everything we got going on. But we actually, me and Ib about a little over a year ago now, right?
Yeah.
About a little over a year ago, we just was sitting, chilling, talking, and we was like, right now, Black Man's Roundtable is live.
Check it out on YouTube.
On YouTube,
every
Facebook,
Tuesday.
Masjid Muhammad of Atlantic City, and Imam Fahim, and I'm pretty sure it's on Kuba School Islamic Center. But we watched that weekly, you know what I mean? So as we was watching that, listening to our imams, building, we were trying to figure out how can we be more of a intricate piece of our community to help build. So, you know, through that conversation, we got to where we at now. So I'm gonna just let Ib tell y'all about, you know, his journey with us, you know, the time we got in with the community, you know, from us being in our 20s.
With black hair, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
To where we at now, you know what I mean? So this my man Ibn, you know what I mean, Bussin' Aid, Paradise Books.
Bussin' Aid, you know what I'm saying? The best juice on the East Coast. Be ready for it when it comes to a store near you. You know what I mean? It's my guy, Chief Hamidicus, Hamza, you know what I mean? Hamza Hamid. For those who know, if you don't know, you know what I'm saying? Let's get very well acquainted.
Mm-hmm.
But what we doing here, we've been on I want to say, when I came into the journey, I tracked it at the time of one of my children, you know what I'm saying? But we've been here for 18-year run, you know what I mean? He probably got a year or two, a little over than that, than me. But we just been striving on this path of Islam and trying to be better, you know what I'm saying? Better with ourselves, better in our community. And like we like to say, like if we've been doing what we're doing right now for a year, it took us a pretty long time to get to this point, you know what I'm saying?
The whole 18.
The whole 18, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
It's been a nice journey, a beautiful journey, ups and downs, you know what I'm saying? A lot of peaks and valleys, but I think we at the bottom of the valley right now. We're going up to the peak of the top of the mountain. So, and if you want to take that how you want to take it, but this journey so far for the past year, I want to say we built 2 entities and still continuing to build them. I would say one is 98% finished and the other is 100% finished.
Mm-hmm.
So in that journey, we learned a lot of things. We learned how to build the entity, and a lot of people don't. And I think that's part of the education which we're gonna be teaching and mentoring with people is what an entity actually is and how you can form one, how one should be formed, and how that information was taken from us. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people start podcasts and businesses, and they started in the wrong fashion. You know, even when it comes to going out and getting money and learning how to do things, how they started in the wrong fashion, and I think that's something that's hidden. They don't put the information there in front of our face.
Yeah, we not trying to gatekeep for certain, and we're not saying we know everything either, you know. But what we are doing is small, consistent acts, and we constantly moving forward. You know what I mean? So the 98% piece he probably talking about is Ahlus Sunnah wal Jamaa. And that's, I'm going to let him explain what Ahlus Sunnah wal Jamaa is and what we plan to do with that and people with destiny in our community.
So we formed, like we said, we formed two entities. Ahlus Sunnah wal Jamaa of America is one of them, and it's just our foothold and stamp. And the inspiration came from, like he said, the Black Imams Roundtable. You know, shout out to Imam Amin, shout out to Fahim, shout out to Imam Naeem.
Imam Fahim.
Imam Fahim, the Imam of the boom bap, you know what I'm saying? That's where we come from. But it's just, a statement was made how once upon a time you used to look at the Muslims in America and you see black people, you know, some of the most famous footholds that we had being Malcolm X, you know, and the Nation of Islam movement. But as you look at it today, you're gonna find a foreign brother that's probably not from here. And that's okay too, because we Muslims and we all brothers, we come from Jannah. That's where we derive from. But everybody has their identity, and we're supposed to have an identity. And usually, and I'm taking this, but when a movement or a group arises from an area, you're supposed to follow that area, be a part of that community, right? And we just haven't, we lost the grasp of our community. So that's part of what we're doing, is just setting a stamp or planting a flag and representing our community.
Right.
And we're nobody, any means, anybody that makes any decisions as far as Islamically. But like I said, we found out some entity information, you know what I mean? And we just want to present it to the community. And again, it's just more so of something that we can hand down and pass down to our youth. Like, this is how you do it, this is how we're supposed to do it. And you can use this as a guideline. And if we made a mistake, correct the mistake.
That's it. Because basically, you know, us coming up, like Ib said, probably about 18 years. And I think, you know, he said probably a couple more for me. I think it's been about 22, somewhere around there, 20 something, at least 2 decades. So, and this is not to say that we didn't have mentors, we didn't have elders, we didn't have leaders, but the position we've been in religiously and economically, we were in one spot based off lack of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? So, and we still kind of in that same element right now. But what we're doing now is we're establishing a way for us to get economically sound in our community. You know what I mean? We, like right now, we keep saying the Black Imams Roundtable. That's the academics. We are the people in the community. So our job as the people of the community is to teach what it is we know and to lead from where we can lead from. And what we can do is, you know, mentor. My son is here. We spend time with the youth. You know, we're mostly the brothers that's inside the masjid for the prayers and, you know, making sure it's safe around there, clean. So there's nothing that's too small. I teach my son, yo, you see the paper towels empty? Clean them up. That's a job. That job might get you in the Jannah. That job may be the job that gets you into paradise. So everybody's not going to be a scholar. Everybody's not going to be an imam. But it's not to say don't seek knowledge and don't try to perfect your knowledge. But what we're doing is with building relationships with our city. We want to thank our mayor, Victor Karstaffen, Camden City Council, the prosecutor's office, the state police, Camden City Metro. You know, you would never think people like us would have relationships and in some instances partnerships with these entities. But if you being Muslim, you have nothing else to worry about. Just be a good Muslim.
That's it.
To the best of your ability. None of us is going to be perfect, you know, and we've all been through some things. But learning how, so I was making a point about not taking anything away from our elders, because we've had wonderful elders. What we're doing right now is establishing a system that can be passed on and duplicated and replicated over and over and over and enhanced to keep building. You know, just this week past, you know, by Allah's permission, we opened a bank account. This bank account is going to be a means for us to do our part as community members to help our masjid and other masjids and other Muslim communities. That's what People of Destiny is for. The goal is to, you know, get into trades, apprenticeship programs. You know, we need food security programs. And then that's going to, that piece is what we're tying in the Ahlus Sunnah, and these are the pieces that we're still learning, because, this brother here created basically a religious trust. So now we learning. So we're not saying, yo, we know what's up, we got the, how it go, because, I can get on the internet right now and sell it and pump fake it, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that's what everybody's out there doing, but for us following these people and, going on these YouTubes and all that, nobody was really getting us from point A to Z. They get you from point A, B, C, D, maybe jump to M. You know what I'm saying? Then it's like, yeah, give me this $1,000 and you understand what I'm saying? So I'm all with us making money. You know what I mean? That's what we're supposed to be doing. But if we have this information, what we need to start doing is sharing this information like we just did just now with the cameras, with Eustace, with the brother Dwayne, bringing lights and cameras and mics and none of us said nothing about no paper, except that we want to go out and get some paper so we can bring something to ourselves. Mm-hmm. And if we just start doing that as communities, as black community members, let's get past Muslim, Christian, whatever, Catholic, whatever's going on. If we start doing that as black men and start sharing this wealth of knowledge and working with each other better, you know what I'm saying, we'll expand. Mm-hmm. And then we could be doing stuff in places like this all over, not just here and there. You step right outside of this building, 90% of the businesses is other races.
Foreign.
You know what I mean? But we are the 90% of the population outside of this door.
And there's something that's
about fix that.
There's something allow me to interject, you know what I'm
saying?
Yeah. It's something that's by design. So we here to break the mold, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all privy to the news that's going on, but I think one of the most bold statements I heard in a long time was announced today, you know what I'm saying? This guy said he's gonna get rid of a whole civilization. So he's just telling you he's gonna break the mold, you know what I'm saying? So what we doing is breaking the mold, breaking what was there before and letting everybody know we here, you know what I'm saying? And again, we're open for guidance and trust and believe we got great guidance. It ain't, and we're not saying it as we just two people out there going to do something. Now we got a team behind us.
Yes.
We have the creator of the universe behind us. You know what I mean? And he has sent us a beautiful team to work with and build with. Yeah. So I got a question for you, because it's not that we're talking about a little bit of a timeline here. So speak on the things that you've done for the community and how it catapulted you to the position of where we at now.
Well, through Allah's mercy and infinite wisdom, we've been able to do a lot of things in the community. One of our partnerships is Rising Leaders Global. We've been a part of Rising Leaders since the beginning. You know what I mean? That's my brother Nnamdi Nelson, school board president and director of Rising Leaders Global. So through that, man, we've been, feeding people, working out with kids, going to schools. We've been in, I don't know how many schools we've been in. This is at least a decade ago. We've been in schools, doing hip hop programs, exercise programs, financial literacy programs, cleaning up the streets. We used to just go outside, clean parks, clean the streets up. People have a problem, we come visit their home, talk to their youth. So those things like that, for us personally, we learned a lot from that. We learned how to be a nonprofit. We learned how to operate. We learned how to create a board, these things like that. So, all of my children came up through Rising Leaders and still are a part of it, you know what I mean? Even my oldest son, that's 32, you know what I mean? So that just show you, he wasn't a baby, but he was at least, I think maybe this age or a little younger. He might have been about 10, 8, and we was already outside doing that. So those things like that, feeding those in need, volunteering at different places, just showing up, just trying to be men, you know what I mean? Again, we wasn't always perfect, you know what I mean? We made a lot of mistakes, but we learned about contracts, we learned about grants, these things like that. So honestly, that's what because I'm still a part of Rising Leaders. I'm one of the members from the beginning, and I'm still a part of it because that's where my heart is at, you know what I mean? So that actually inspired me to help us create this right here. You know what I mean? Because you know, when we was just sitting kicking it, we realized there was a void of this thing, in our opinion, for the Muslim community. You know what I mean? Sometimes, you know, Muslims is trying to be too Muslim, for lack of better words. You know, one of the sheikhs said, you know, we looking for more religion inside religion, you know? And like I said, to start off, first of all, may Allah forgive us, man. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
We know scholars, you know. The sheikh said, you want to see a miracle, you know, show me somebody that's praying all 5 of these salats on time. There go a miracle. You know, we don't need nothing else, you know what I mean? So when we seen that emptiness that we seen, you know, like with the Muslim community, the Muslim men, the Muslim women, the Muslim youth, that's what brought this about. But it was from being engaged with that other, you know, rising leaders and seeing like civic engagement, you know, being a part of like campaigns and voting, not like exact like, you know, but because, you know, there's rules with that with nonprofits, but just seeing that process and being engaged with that, that's really what did it, Ib. And that's been, like I said, probably 20 something years, you know what I mean, that we've been out here doing that. And you know, even like with, how old is Cece now? 18. So yeah, so like even with that, like that's just been what we've been doing, trying to do better. And then, you know, from being with these organizations and seeing them get funding and seeing them, you know, operate in the community, you know, it's not taking anything from that by us building this. And that's what we got to keep doing, keep building on. So I hope that answered your question.
Yeah,
I got a question for you too. What you know, same thing, like what inspired you to, like, you know, when we came together and you're like, bro, we should do the Ahlus Sunnah, besides like just the Black Imams Roundtable, or, you know, like us watching that, what were some of the things that made you want to go further with that and get us to the point that we at now, and actually, you know, sitting down in the bank, getting waters and coffees and stuff, you know what I mean?
Feeling real good. Well, there's a lot of things, you know what I'm saying, but I'll just touch on a couple points. Like just knowing when we start something as Black people, or we don't complete it, and or we do on something and it's not, we don't have everything. You know what I mean? I was watching an interview and listening to somebody that I thought was inspirational and prominent in saying, if I would have known this when I started, and I thought I would have looked at it as it was a big success, and I think a lot of people did look at it as a big success, but from his perspective, it's like his perspective and other people's perspective, certain things in their journey have started to go downhill. And just knowing what we did here, so we've been here for 11 years, just about 11 years going on, in business, and failed some areas, succeeded in other areas, seeing how people respond to things that we're doing and have suggestions on things that we don't do. You know, we might have dropped the ball in an area where we really needed the ball. So we haven't done anything with funding and going out and taking loans or anything like that, or lines of credit from banks. But we could have. And that was the inspiration for me when we started doing this, was to be able to put ourselves in a position where we could go out and crowdfund, where we can go out and open up lines of credit and scale in a certain way. Just being privy to that, seeing a lot of people in our society come home from jail and have to go get 2 and 3 jobs just to succeed, witnessing it, you know what I mean? Seeing those people go out there, but seeing how we as Muslims don't have any help for them. We don't have any.
Yeah, we send them to Catholic charities.
We got to send them to Catholic charities,
Jewish charities, and
we got to send them outside of our community to get help when we need help inside our community. No disrespect to those communities, but again, we're established enough. We got over 1,400 years of establishment of this, and now we're here. If this Friday was the last day, what could we have done? What do we got to bring forth on the table?
And just to let y'all know, y'all don't even know how hard this podcast is for me and him not to talk over top of each other.
And learn
Look,
one
we was
another.
talking all week like,
You know
yo,
what I
look,
mean?
this week though at the job we got you, cause man, when me and this brother get together, we used to be ready to fight back in the day. Like,
Yeah.
man, this is my guy.
Our
Like,
first
wallahi,
meeting was
like, yeah,
our first meeting was what you talking about?
yeah.
Nah, man, yeah. And then he
Oh
big as
man,
ever, you know what I'm
we
saying? This
crazy.
bodybuilder over here, you know what I'm
Not back
saying?
then. Not now. I'm all
And I'm
flabby
just,
like Larry Holmes.
you
Like,
know what I'm saying?
I get it
We
together.
going at it. If it wasn't for his lovely wife jumping in between us and stopping us, we would have been at each other's head, you know what I mean? But
Pause.
it's
At each other's head is
one of
wild.
those things.
But
It's one of those, man. But we look
Yeah,
at us, man.
yeah.
We grown men.
Yup.
We grown men with a lot of wisdom.
and man, what the biggest thing I'm happy about, you know, just this conversation is that we trying. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't fronting like we know everything. We ain't fronting like we got everything in order. But like I said, we got a bank account that's for a nonprofit. We got our SAMS account. You know, we got our charitable donation paperwork. We got our state and federal tax exemption. You know, we are accomplishing some things, and it's just like with Rising Leaders Global. When our brother started that, nobody, we just caught the train or we drove or something, and we went up Trenton and then one folded. We had to recreate it and do this and that, and you know, we learned some things about accountants and, you know, W-2s and W-9s and all. You know, we learn it because, and it's not, this is the thing that, this is one of the main purpose of People of Destiny is to like educate ourselves and educate our people and know that we don't know everything, but we can learn everything. You know what I'm saying? And just being humble, having that humble mindset, you know, having that compassionate mindset, and knowing that we're not going to be perfect. You know what I mean? But just the fact that we striving is so beautiful. You know what I'm saying? I know that, like I said, we keep touching on about the bank account and this and that. So now we at a point now. If any of our viewers have any, you know, insight for us on, like, you know, what do we do for, you know, like getting lines of credit?
Shared interest. We need
Yeah.
people with shared interest. You know
Because
what I mean?
People of Destiny is not mine. It's not his. It's not. Actually, everybody in this room, it's all of ours. You know what I mean? We're gonna figure a way. How do we put the situation with the camera business within that and get contracts, and because you know all this stuff right here, wallahi, we already done this. But we used to work with a group called IDEA, Institute Developing Education in the Arts. Shout out to Miss Cynthia Primus. This is what we was doing. Hip hop, cameras, dance, this, that, any like just to get the youth engaged. And we can go out here and we can educate people just on sitting behind that camera.
Yeah.
You know, just on, you know, people get jobs just setting up the lights, like Yusuf was just saying about at the event, the joint you was just at, the horseshoe.
Yeah, license.
Yeah, people it's people getting paid putting up the lights. You know what I mean? So People of Destiny,
Yeah,
that's go ahead.
That's a big thing.
That's
like,
really what this is about.
one of my best friends. That's what he did. You know what I mean? His dad was in the union, and he was a DJ, sound engineer. So his summer job, every summer he working at the what is it called? The Twitter Center, East Center, whatever.
The center.
Concert arena it was. It got a different name right
Yeah.
now, but he used to work there, so that's what he doing, putting up lights. He getting $100 an hour just to put up lights. You know what I mean? But if it wasn't for his dad being an engineer, he wouldn't have been allotted to that opportunity.
Right.
But now look at where we came from now. So everybody got a podcast. It's like I used to have a camera. We used to be taking pictures. If I would have known then what I know now, we could have started up a union.
Yeah.
That's by now it could have been 1,000 brothers with cameras, and we charging you to do this. We coming through to shoot your episode. I was on somebody's page, and they was showing themselves setting up everything. So they was like basically saying, we giving you information on how to start up a podcast, da 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 da. So I hit in there. What was the comment that I gave was, how much is the equipment? A generalization of how much the equipment that you're putting up on. And I ain't getting no response. I didn't think I was gonna get a response, but it's the sheer fact of they are already tied in with that. Don't ask them about their equipment. Ask me about how can I put your stuff on a streaming platform.
Right.
You know what I mean? How much I'm gonna charge you to put your stuff on a streaming platform? How much it is to get your ASCAP and BMI together? Ask me these simple questions, but don't worry about the production.
And that's every time we speak, is that's more and more that what we talking about with people of destiny. That's the goal. Each model that we could put together, we want to strive to put the model together from A to Z. You know what I mean? Rather be if it's a young person that want to get into sports. You know, anything you could think of, wallahi, that's in our mind, that's what people of destiny is. Now, we do have a brother that's telling me, yo, narrow it down. So I'm telling him, look, as you see me moving, narrow it down. That ain't my thing. But that's the beauty of a team. You know what I mean? Because I'm trying to apply it to everything. You know what I mean? And, you know, they're going to be people, even people with me, that's going to say, that's impossible. And I just got to let them say that it's impossible. You know, and it's not going to do anything to our relationship. But in our mind, that's how we see it. Like, we want to apply this to everything. But for now, we're doing
economic development,
trade, and the food security and youth mentoring, right?
Food security.
So
and youth mentoring.
that's the basis of this now. So how much time how long we been going? 26 minutes. Yeah. All right. So because we don't want to be too long, you know what I mean? And then, you know, I have gotten feedback from people already. Yeah, bro, you should do this. You got to do that. Hit the mic. And, you know, we appreciate all that feedback. But also what we want to do is we want to keep moving forward, keep taking these steps. And we allow Allah to develop this thing and keep, you know, push it the way we want. Today, our brother just completed our Zephy. You know what I mean? Hopefully, inshallah, when we do the joints, it's going to be right here. It's like, now they be like, yeah, right here.
Yeah, click on that link that you see right there.
Nah, but yeah, we got the Zephy now for the organization. We do have the website. Like I said, we had a bank account. We had the Instagram page. Everything is People of Destiny, I think. You know,
it's definitely a tax deductible donation.
Yeah,
so anybody
you're gonna get your
everything. You got
the
it.
proper paperwork you need for you to use it as a tax write-off and all that. We're able to give that. You know, charitable
100%.
donations.
You can look us up.
Yeah, we're official.
Everywhere.
You know what I mean?
100%.
And that's, you know, to me, I'm already celebrating. You know, we celebrating already because it's like we made it. You know, and it ain't even about the money. It's really not. It's just the fact that right now, you know, we got the Google, what's the name? The joint,
Google Drive.
The Google Drive, you know what I mean? Where all the information is at. So if I check out, he check out, any of the brothers check, it's right there. You know, you can get in there, go to the Google joint. You can see everything, all the paperwork, everything we filed is in there. You know what I mean? That's the goal. And these are things that we've never done before. You know, we'll be, man, papers will be everywhere.
And just to touch on some of the stuff that we were able to accomplish, I kind of dropped the ball for this is me because I was supposed to grab the paperwork. But speak about
the joints,
the resolutions we achieved.
So again, you know, go back a little bit, thanking the mayor, Victor Karstarf, and his city council, in particular, Chris Collins, you know, for one of the joints, which was for the 40th anniversary for the Cuba School and Islamic Center at 1311 Haddon Avenue.
The oldest masjid at Camden, New Jersey.
Yeah, you know, that's what Ib said.
Yeah,
and
said it.
Yeah, so you know, so one of the things we've been doing is we've been building a relationship with our city, with the Metro Police Department, with, you know, the prosecutor's office, actually the state police, you know what I mean, the Attorney General's office, you know what I mean. But in particularly right now in the city, you know, they gave us the resolution, and then we want to thank the mayor also and the city council, you know, his whole team. They gave us the proclamation.
Yeah, we got a proclamation for Ramadan.
For Eid.
Eid, yes,
for
Eid celebration.
For Eid celebration, so acknowledging like that it's a holiday and it's something meaningful to the Muslims, and, you know, just getting us involved in community aspect. You know, that's another thing. I know me, you know, us personally coming up, we was taught like, yeah, don't this, don't give it that, don't, you know, all these things. And I'm like, well, you know, in our opinion, we need these things in order to be a part of community, a part of low-income housing, funding, schools, you know what I mean? All the biggest, a lot of the industries, the nonprofits we were speaking about, the religious nonprofits, they are involved with the city.
Yeah.
So that was our take on it, but we want to thank the mayor.
Appreciate the efforts.
And also, we tied in, we're not partnered, but we tied in with, through Rising Leaders with the, with Camden City Metros, the open gym joint. That's every Friday. So shout out the police department, the chief, the captain, lieutenants, everybody. So those things also is something that we teaching, because that's not that's not normal for us. That's not normal for us. You know what I mean? For us to be, he good, yeah. That's not normal for us. You know what I mean? For the most part. So these things are things that we're doing that we also teaching the brothers in our community and the younger people in our community. You know what I mean? So yeah, thanks for reminding me about that. We was actually supposed to bring them. We was not prepared. We were supposed to bring them so we could show them, but we could always add that.
We can definitely
add that to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Brother Dre just came in.
Yeah, shout out to Dre. You know what I'm saying? One of the entrepreneurs in the community. You know what I mean?
Big part of this. Big part of People of Destiny in Ahlus.
That's what we
because he was there for them. Just the talks and, the building sessions, and cuz to tell you, like, we literally tapped out for like about a year. Cuz was nothing we could do. We was, that's it. Like, that's it. We can't do nothing. We have to finish this. We have to put this together so we could be able to do something else. And that was difficult for us because, we like engaging, we like building with the community. That's what we do.
But again, there's no blueprint. You don't got a blueprint and you don't have a blueprint for what we did. But that was part of what we're doing, is to gather the blueprint for our community. Hopefully anybody want to tap in, we can tap in and spread as much information we can to anybody. But it's something that lacks in our communities is understanding. What we said is, like, we might have been told some bad information that we ran with for years.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, you can, don't do this, don't do that. But yeah, we should have a connection with it. If little Tommy get pulled over by the police, he gonna call his dad, and his dad gonna call the mayor. You know what I mean? So now we got that same ability.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Call somebody, let them know, like if we have a problem, maybe we can fix the problem before it escalate. And that's all part of relationship building. And that's something it takes, like I used to always tell my oldest son, love go both ways. It can't just be one side trying to do something. Yeah. It has to be another side. So if we just have, police trying to do community policing, or the mayor's office, or any of these places trying to do things, and then the people not receptive, how's it ever going to work?
Yeah, it's not going to work.
And and us, we just tired of taking the stance of like complaining. What is we going to do? So so that's about it. I want to take this time to really, shout my brother out, him and his father, man, for this school, for this store, for the beautiful things they have here. Ib, how can they keep in touch with you, follow you, and visit the store? Anything you need to give them.
Again, the address, 1506 Mount Ephraim Avenue, Camden, New Jersey. Come through Paradise Books and Islamic Fashions. We got an array of products, over 30 products here. We got some community products, and definitely we do wholesale buying. We do some wholesaling. But again, we're looking to expand in the future, and we'll talk about that, touch that on a later date. But you can definitely come get one of the best gourmet drinks in the world. You know what I'm saying? We got them right here all the time.
You got them? You got some bussin'
Yeah,
they in there? Let me get one. Hand me one of them bussin' names. They got a...
The fridge is full. Please check us out. Come through and support. And I want to say, this is my little message to everybody, that don't make this a fashion show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we a store, we a Islamic store. These clothes ain't just for the Eid. These clothes are for every day. We got information that'll help you from every day, from the time that you wake up in the morning till you go to sleep at night, the time that your child is born to the time that you lay your child to rest. So we got to think about that. But definitely hit me up again, man. This great drink right here, it's very addictive, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Stop by
to.
and get these. These joints is
Come on, man. Hook us up.
they world renowned. What's your Instagram?
The Instagram is _IBBYON. You know what I mean? We live on that right now.
Okay.
And again, we the People Destiny 2026. Ahlus in the World Jamaa of America. We doing our thing. And we'll tag everything. All of these things will be in the comments and the description of the videos. But again, man, check us out. We've been here. Keep us in business. We only in business because of y'all. If it's $1, if it's a nice smiling conversation, we appreciate everything. And on behalf of myself and my father, we thank you. You know, come on through.
And we, you know, us, you could, you know, everything he just said. I don't even know my Instagram by heart. I know it's Chief Hamidicus.
Chief Hamidicus.
But People of Destiny. But you know, the Cash App is New World Life, the number 9. You know what I mean? And then, like I just said, we got the Zephy now for People of Destiny. You know, and honestly, with that, last thing is, our main thing is we trying to raise about 300,000.
We want 300,000.
You know what I mean? Because we have a building, and we want this building to be state of the art completely. We gonna just leave it at that, and it's gonna help the community with training. It's gonna help the community with providing. It's gonna help the community with learning, and that's gonna be our first step. You know, moving forward to our school and everything like that. So. You know, with that being said, I want to thank y'all brothers, man. Eustace, Dwayne, appreciate y'all. We're going to keep making this thing bigger and better. You know what I mean? We're going to get this out to the world. Shout out to this little head, small head pause over here.
Man, big pause.
Sky, you know what I mean? So LOVE, LIFE, GONE, gone.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.